Good afternoon, everyone. I want to bring to order this meeting of the Technical Transportation Committee of Tippecanoe County. And welcome, everyone. Our first order of business is approval of minutes from the previous meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes as submitted.
Thank you for the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes as they read now. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll proceed with the vote. All in favor of approving the minutes from the last meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. Minutes have been approved. Next item on the agenda is access permits. We have an NDOT representative to talk about that today.
Absolutely. So our permit manager, Afton Tribby, has been doing a pretty good job of getting that information in a week in advance so that you guys have a chance to see it before the meeting. And I sure appreciate that because I didn't get a chance to look through it before the meeting. So if you have any questions from what you've seen in terms of what has changed since the last meeting, I will do my best to answer them. Other than that, I am not prepared. So, any questions from my fellow colleagues regarding the two cities or county and how some active permit might affect you and or some application that may have just come in since the last meeting? As I scan through here, we see one from January, 2026. I don't see, we may not have gotten a new one since the last meeting, honestly. December 20th of 24. There we go, December 23rd, 25. It was the most recent application, and they're in order by year, so the top one is the most recent one. I'm just stalling, they're not asking me any questions, so I think we maybe are in good shape.
Okay, it appears to be the case. All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is, next block here is the APC progress report, starting off with the MPO update. And Doug, if you can give us the 2050 long-range transportation plan and the NDOT safety screening item.
Good afternoon, everyone. A couple weeks ago, we received an email from NDOT Central Office. They were asking for ideas to hold public meet and greets regarding the long-range plan. Specifically, they were targeting the months of February and March. So we had a short list of places, or not places, but events that will be coming up those 2 months and forwarded that information. So if you think of anything going on that that they could come up and set up a booth to get public input regarding their long-range plan, please let us know. I think our top one listed was road school. I mean, you're going to get a lot of people there, so I think that would be a good opportunity to have a good cross-selection of people across the state to get the input. The only other thing that I could find regarding the long-range plan they do have is what you see on the screen, basically a 2-page brochure about it, nothing else regarding the update, but we thought we'd just bring to this committee to let everybody know that they are in the process of updating their long-range transportation plan. Going on to the second item, it's pretty exciting. This is what we call the NDOT safety screening. This is held every year. NDOT puts a list together, well actually Purdue University puts the list together, and we talk about different locations. This one for today actually was for the district, and we had a good meeting this morning talking about various locations within Tippecanoe County. We also suggested looking at the State Road 26 I-65 interchange. If you remember from the road safety audit that we had a couple years back, there were 2 issues specifically. The biggest one was the southbound off-ramp making a right-hand turn onto South Street, but we wanted to let you know that we did have that meeting today. It's a very good meeting to talk about locations, and they also, at the end ask us for any safety locations. A lot of changes are coming up. They mentioned specifically the AASHTO that's in the process of being tested and will be rolling out later this year. We had an amendment on it last year. In terms of, we spend a lot of time looking at crash data to try to figure out, are they within parking lots or are they actual, on the road at driveways, intersections and whatnot. This software is supposed to help clean that data up so we don't have to spend a lot of manpower doing that. Just wanted to pass along that information to you. Any questions or comments? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Next two items, the 2055 Metropolitan Transportation Plan, housing projections, and the MPO bylaws, both items that Tim is going to address for us.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with the MTP housing projections. So this is something we've been working on for a couple months. We've worked in conjunction with our partners at the LPAs. And essentially what we're trying to do at the end of the whole process is to look forward to 2055 and see what the transportation needs of the community are and what sorts of projects we can use to make our transportation system more multimodal and more functional and better able to serve what we anticipate being an increasing population in 2055. So one step in that process is to look at where we think new housing will be built and developed. And this is not just single-family housing, this also includes apartments, it includes townhouses, it includes, we've seen some proposals even for tiny homes. So those, by 2055, may be part of the housing stock as things continue to change and evolve in our world. So what you see on this map here is we have split the county into several different traffic analysis zones. And we have taken our best estimate based on what we've been seeing in the development community of where we think housing is going to be built by 2055. So that's what this map is. It will be included in the full transportation plan, which will be adopted next year. We're doing kind of the same exercise now for employment. We had a really good meeting on that last week, which was very helpful, and we're gonna, I think, probably have to have one more to wrap up that exercise, but we've got a good start on that. So obviously, housing and employment are the two biggest drivers of people needing to move around. So we are kind of looking at, again, not just where we would need to put in new roads, but this also applies to trails, it applies to sidewalks, it applies to making sure we have the best transit infrastructure we can as well. So all those components to get a good functioning system. Any questions on that?
Is there any information on what you expect to have from a density on the buildings, single family versus townhomes versus higher capacity apartment buildings?
Sure. So I don't know if you can tell very well, and unfortunately it's a little hard to on this laptop to zoom in on things, but downtown especially, we do kind of expect to continue to see a lot of the high-rise type development. So that will kind of still be concentrated in the downtown. You will see some multi-family units kind of on the urban fringe, if you will. And then some of those out in the county are going to be more of your single-family type of uses that we've seen out there. So I would kind of, I don't know if you can tell very well or not on the map, but basically the area that's mostly in white kind of represents the urban area. So you wouldn't expect to see too much in terms of multifamily outside of that. You will probably see some spot projects here and there, but that would kind of be where I would think you would see the higher density stuff. If you want to talk more specifically about this, or anyone else on City Bus's staff, Randy, we'd be happy to have a meeting and sit down with you guys and go through it if you think that would be beneficial to you.
Yeah, be good, please.
Okay, I'll go ahead and send you an email after this meeting and we can figure out who would need to be there and we can discuss what information you need and get all the details sorted out. Okay. All All right, good question. Any other questions? Okay, well then if it's okay, I'll go ahead and move on to the next item, which is the MPO bylaws. All right. So the MPO bylaws basically just cover what we need to do in terms of putting together our different committees and public outreach, including this committee. So we kind of realized as we were going through the exercise of putting together our functional classification update, which we do every 10 years when the census, after the census occurs, that we don't necessarily have on this board a designated slot to represent some of our smaller towns like Battleground, Dayton, Clarks Hill. They are represented on the Plan Commission, but they aren't necessarily represented on this board. So we are considering adding those as kind of non-voting members. And the reason for that is that we know, just practically speaking, sometimes it is hard for people in smaller communities to get to meetings during the daytime, and the more members we add, the harder it will be for us to get a quorum and conduct official business at this meeting. But we would still like to have those communities have a chance to participate in the process if they would like to. So in order to do that, we decided to try to dig out our bylaws, and we sort of found that we had promised the Federal Highway Administration several years ago that we would do an update to those bylaws, and we didn't. So we are correcting that. We have a draft version of those bylaws that our staff has been over, and we've sent that around to NDOT and Federal Highway for their comments and feedback. So hopefully we'll get something from them on that. And then once we hear about any changes, we will be presenting that both to this board and the policy board for an official kind of adoption of those bylaws. Basically, it's not really going to change too much. It's mostly just codifying what we're already doing. So any questions about that?
You have a target for that?
In terms of a target date, probably sometime in the spring would be my guess. It tends to take a couple months to review these types of things, but at the same time, we understand that currently NDOT and Federal Highway do have a lot of employees that are stretched pretty thin, and this isn't necessarily their highest priority to review this, so that could push it back to more of a summer timeline.
If they're non-voting members, would they actually affect the quorum, or could that be in the bylaws? Yeah, so they.
Right, yeah, so the idea would be then that they would still, be more involved in the process, because, we do periodically reach out to them about issues, but it is a little different, being reached out about a one-off issue versus, coming and sitting every month with, some of the other LPAs and kind of being part of that process around the table, right? So that's kind of our idea, is to at least give them that opportunity if they would be interested.
They could come and go, but they wouldn't affect our quorum count.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, if there are no further questions, we'll move on to the next item, and that is the federal funding update. Doug? And then after that, just proceed with the 18-month letting list.
Will do, thank you. Well, some good news passed along regarding our federal funds. Last month, we actually submitted 2 FEMA requests. Both are for the Soldiers Home Road project. One was for right-of-way services, and then the other one was for actually purchasing of the right-of-way. Those are being processed, so we can kind of check the box on that. The second one is actually moving our funds, the STBG funds that we had penciled to use for the Northern Corridor study. We processed the work program amendment, and we actually then requested those funds be moved to the work program. The next opportunity to report or for our federal funds to be obligated is coming actually next month or fairly soon, and that was the bid letting for the South 9th Street project. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, in April, we get good bids for the emergency vehicle preemption project. But once those last 2 are taken care of, we should have all of our federal funds obligated. So right now, we're looking on track and it looks good for this year. Moving on to the 18-month letting list, this is kind of an unusual situation in that when we put this list together, NDOT had not updated their 18-month letting list. So we did send them an email asking them to do that. They finally did. And so next month we'll be reporting more up-to-date status. The one thing I can report, the traffic signal modernization, State Road 26 at the 900 East intersection, that was moved from a July 8th bid letting to a December 9th bid letting. But some really good news to pass along, as you may recall or may not. On the January bid letting, we had 3 projects. All 3 were NDOT. One specifically, the State Road 225 Truss Reconstruction or Repair Project. 2 bids were actually submitted, and the engineer's estimate was at $9.99 million. The low bid came in at $9.175. So while I checked this morning and it did not show awarded yet, I have my fingers crossed. Can you confirm that it has been?
I can confirm everything you said is accurate.
I'll keep my fingers crossed still.
It's awardable, so we're waiting to see.
Okay, great. Regarding the other 2 projects, one was on I-65, a pavement patching project, basically a pinch north of State Road 28 to a half mile south of State Road 38. The engineer's estimate was at $3.99 million. There were 2 bids, and the low bid was $1.89 million, and the other one was on State Road 38. It was a bridge over the South Fork of the Wildcat Creek, scour protection. Engineer's estimate was at $688,000 and change. There were actually 5 bids. The low bid was significantly less at $558,000 and change. So hopefully we'll give more up-to-date information at next month, but things look good. Any questions or comments? Great, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Next on the agenda is our space for other business that anyone would bring to the committee.
I actually have something. So in 2024, NDOT had their first round of safety summits, 1 per district. We held ours in the Zionsville area, if I recall. Last year's safety summit was a combination with ITT, so NDOT consulting designers and contractors, and we held that at the Purdue site, the agricultural site. I never know the right name. Thank you. This coming year, I just heard this morning that LTAP is going to lead the process of putting together the 6 safety summits. So keep your eyes and ears open. So again, because that group is local, the organizing committee will be meeting locally, I think on the Purdue campus. So one or more of us might have an opportunity to participate in that planning. So that's, and then for 2027, I think we'll go back to NDOT as the lead, and we'll try this cycling of 3 different leads to interject different ideas and concepts into the summits. That sounded interesting.
Right. Thank you. And I did miss the fact that there's another item that we actually have on the sheet for this. March meeting reschedule, Tim?
Yes, so we are looking a couple months ahead, and the reason for this is that our typical 3rd Wednesday meeting conflicts with road school, and obviously many of us will be there, so I don't think it makes sense to try to hold a meeting on that day. So what we'd like to do is slide it back a week to the 25th at 2 p.m. It would still be in this room. We checked, it's still available. So does that seem like that would be agreeable for people to make it just a week later in March? All right, I'm seeing some yeses, some nodding, okay. All right, well, we'll go ahead and plan on that then, and we'll make sure to send out some extra calendar reminders and emails just to make sure it's on your calendar, since we're swapping from our normal routine a little bit in March.
Okay, thank you. Next item is the opportunity for citizen comments. Do we have any? Appearing to be none, we'll just move on to the adjournment. I will entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Thank you for the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. I think that's unanimous. I declare the meeting adjourned until next month. Our February meeting, I don't know the date. It's down here. Okay. Regular time, regular.